Dear Diary, I rarely write on a Friday evening, but since Rose isn't here this week, I have been spending more time writing poems and reading books. Poor Rose. I imagine the last place she would like to be is at a finishing school. And Florence told her that she can learn a great deal from any experience if she makes up her mind firmly that she will. But later I heard her telling Bonnie that it was just another way for her sister to waste time and money. Rose's mother thinks we learn too much history and too few manners. At least she hasn't removed her from school yet. Tonight we will go to bed early, and tomorrow we will plan what to bake for Rose's return. We will probably stay indoors this time. It is too windy and stormy. Luckily last Sunday we had a lot of fun in the snow and playing the violin by the fireplace with the Clarks. And Florence and Bonnie prepared a huge pot of hot chocolate and some bread, while the Clarks brought a delicious pie. Before it got dark, and Florence took them home in her carriage, giving them the mittens Bonnie had knitted, a sack of potatoes, and the books Rose and I had chosen from the library. Rose won't believe me when I tell her what happened. Among the books we gave them, there was my favorite poetry book. I must have forgotten, but it seems I left one of my own poems in it, and James Clark found it. It was a love poem called The Paper Flower. On his way to school, he asked Aunt Florence about the author, and she told him it was me. Today at school, he approached me with a paper flower he made himself. Aunt Florence finds it very romantic and teases me about it, but I felt so embarrassed that I blush every time I think about it. He is so handsome and amiable. I think I may feel this way about him for the rest of my life. My darling friend Chloe, it was so nice to have you here again. We always have so much fun. As I was reading my grandmother's journal this morning, I was thinking that many of our daydreams and wishes seem not that impossible anymore. It is funny how time holds the answers to everything. No one could have imagined everything that has happened since you sent me that first letter, and at the same time, Rose had planned it all. I wonder what else the future holds for us. It would be funny to reread our letters in a few years and realize that, again, time would put everything back on track. Just like it did for my grandmother. It is so heartwarming to read her anecdotes about the first times she saw my grandfather, and the way she writes about the Clarks, not knowing that she would become a Clark herself. I am so excited about tomorrow's visit. I finished baking the last batch of bread rolls, and I will prepare the baskets as soon as it has cooled down. I can't wait to visit Aunt Florence's house. I've read so much about it that I almost feel like I've been there before. Of course, it will be quite different to what it was back then, but I am sure it will feel familiar anyway. If my train isn't late, I should be there on time. I hope we arrive at the same time, but I wrote down the name of Professor Graham just in case. You know, I tend to forget everything quickly. I am enclosing a new short story I wrote for my students for you to read on your way back home. Looking forward to seeing you. With love, Winnie.